Absolutely. Doogie, Twin Scoops. In the last few weeks on Mackey and Judd, and even with Jake DePew on Talking Twins, we've been kicking around the idea of Jose Berrios with twofold. Number one, can you find a contract that works for him as an extension? Or two, if the season really does continue to go in the tank, and I'm with you, they're not coming back from this record. No team has ever done that before. But if we get closer to the deadline and those extension talks reach an impasse or don't reach somewhere that Jose's camp likes, there could be a market for him, and rightfully so. The Twins wouldn't sell short on. They could get some legitimate prospects. The Toronto Blue Jays could be in the market for a starting pitcher. They also have 3 starters who are in their top 100 prospects. They're rich in the farm system on the arms. What can you tell us about Jose Berrios and the potential of a contract extension or maybe even being moved possibly at the deadline?
Declan, it's not a could be a market. There is, and there would be. And I mean, you mentioned Toronto because I know John Morrissey has named Toronto. He does fine work for MLB Network. I'll add the Boston Red Sox. The Boston Red Sox, maybe unexpectedly, I don't know if a lot of us thought the Red Sox would be this good this year, but they're good, and they have payroll flexibility, and you can make a case the Red Sox could use a really good starter, that they have a bunch of, number 3 types, depending on Evaldi. Maybe Evaldi can start game 1 of a playoff series, but the Red Sox, they have some prospects. I'm telling you, and there's more teams than that, but I would not sleep on the Boston Red Sox in terms of having some interest in Jose Berrios. I'll tell you this much, Declan. I checked on Sunday, so going back 2 days. Mm-hmm. I was told by somebody in the know that in recent weeks, not months, but weeks, that there have not been any talks. That the Twins have not approached the Berrios camp about extension talks. Now, do I foresee talks picking up at some point between now and July 30th? I do. So then the question is, okay, the Twins have tried for multiple years. We can go back to 2019. We can go back a while where the Twins have tried to sign Berrios to an extension. Clearly, it has not worked out. Let's not forget that 16 months ago, February of 2020, right before COVID shut everything down, the Twins took Jose Berrios to an arbitration hearing. Very rare, right? Yeah. It had been a while since the Twins went all the way to a hearing. Kyle Loesch maybe many years ago. Typically, you settle. You meet in the middle, right? You don't need to have a judge actually hear the case. Well, it went all the way to an arbiter, right? And this individual sided with the Twins. Berrios lost that arbitration case. I'm curious. I don't know this answer, Declan, but I think it's worth bringing up as a talking point. I'm curious if Berrios, his camp, are still upset about that the Twins took them all the way to a hearing. And hey, one judge's opinion, whatever, but that they couldn't come to terms before it got into that room. That is there still some bitterness from that, but hey, make no mistake about this, Berrios just wants to get paid. If the Twins want to give him, above fair market value, whatever, he'll forget about February of 2020. So then the question is, what is fair market value? I tweeted the other day, okay, so Lance McCullers Jr. of the Astros signs an extension, 5 years, $85 million. Zach Wheeler, who the Twins made a very, very nice offer to, and Zach Wheeler been one of the 10 best pitchers since he's joined the Phillies. Certainly this year. Maybe we can debate 2020, but this year, Zach Wheeler has been unbelievable. The Twins really wanted Zach Wheeler. He ends up, because he wanted to stay in the National League East, he signs with the Phillies, leaves the Mets. He signs 5 years, $118 million. Okay, well, I think logically speaking, Berrios isn't quite Zach Wheeler.
Yeah.
But is he above McCullers Jr.? Now, that to me is an interesting debate. Berrios has durability clearly on his side. McCullers Jr. has dealt with some injuries. He's now finally coming back. I think he actually returns from the injured list tonight for the Astros. But Berrios has that to his advantage. McCullers Jr. probably has going deeper in games, pitching into the 7th inning. McCullers Jr., I would say, has that advantage, but when you look at, just flat out earned runs allowed, there's a case you can what I'm getting at, Declan, is you can make a case that Berrios is more valuable than McCullers Jr. He's only 27 years old. Not that McCullers Jr. is an old man, but like, what is a fair market deal for Jose Berrios? Like, if you're the Twins, would you do 5 years, $100 million? Let me also throw out this idea. If you're the Berrios camp, would you be interested in a 3-year extension? So that would cover seasons 2023, 2024, 2025. Then he can re-enter the market at the age of 31. He could still get paid if you're banking on he's in incredible shape. Heck, we see the videos on his Instagram all winter. All he's doing is running up and down the beach, right? Like, we know he works his behind off, right? So, like, if you're the Berrios camp, do you bank on him maintaining his durability and wanting him to re-enter the market at the young age of 31, that he could still hit the jackpot at the age of 31? You know, the other thing you need to keep in mind if you're the Berrios camp is, if you look at the arms that currently, now this will change, guys will sign extensions, you know, so it'll change. But if you look right now at the available arms, starting pitchers come after the 2022 season, so Berrios is clearly on that list. But if you look at that full list, Aaron Nola and some other names on that list, it's a thick list. There are going to be a lot of starting pitchers available on the market after the 2022 season. So if you're the Berrios camp, do you aim to take the money now, not wanting to play that free agent game? Yes, he'll always have age on his side, but are you better off just taking the money? And that, to me, that's where I think the Twins need to go to at least 5 years, 100. Like, I guess I would be mildly, maybe not blown away, because money is money. It's hard to turn down when it's sitting there staring you in the face. Like, if Berrios is offered 5 years, $93 million, you know, is it possible he takes that? Sure, it's possible. But I still think the Twins would need to go to $100 million or north of that. I mean, for all I know, his representation at Wasserman is aiming for the Zach Wheeler contract. They're not taking anything less than $118 million. I don't think that's true, but I don't know that. Like, I think there's probably a happy medium between the McCullers Jr. contract and the Wheeler contract. But yes, I do expect, Declan, those talks to pick up again. They've had a number of talks going back multiple years. I foresee those talks picking up between now and the non-waiver trade deadline. And if the Twins can't come to a happy medium, they can't get Berrios locked up, then yes, I think you probably need to get to the point where you're going to have multiple offers. We mentioned the Blue Jays, the Red Sox. I'm telling you, there's other teams. The Twins would have their pick of a really nice offer or two. Take one of those offers, make the move. But I'm in the boat, Declan. I would pay him. I would at least offer 5-100, make that the baseline, work off that.
Yeah.
If he says no to 5-100, then maybe kick around less term, you know, maybe at a higher annual value. There's different ways, or you build in the incentives. I mean, you know, maybe not apples and apples, but like Nelly Cruz, the way the Twins got the Nelly Cruz contract across the finish line was adding some incentives, right? So can you find a way to add some incentives, maybe fairly reachable incentives, but he still has to perform, you know, to hit those benchmarks? There's different ways to negotiate a contract, but I'm just telling you, those talks will pick up at some point in the coming weeks.
Last thing on the Twins, Doogie. I know we asked you last week the chances of the Twins possibly even making a trade before June. Now, baseball trade deadline's weird. You know, like I think, was it 2019, around this time 2 years ago, the Yankees pulled off that trade for Edwin Encarnacion. But typically, it seems like baseball trades really don't happen until we get closer and closer to the deadline. Do you foresee, though, a solution, especially if this Twins season continue to lose games? They wanted to use that homestand as an evaluation. They go 2-4 against the Yankees and the Astros in the recent homestand. Do you see a situation, though, where the Twins do sell off maybe a Hansel Robles or an Andrelton Simmons, maybe even by the end of the month of June?
Well, I hope to glean more when I talk to Falvey on Thursday, whether that's on mic or off mic. We'll see if I can get him to crack a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I think the Twins are open for business. The old "it takes two to tango," right? And it's not like, put it this way, Declan, what you're getting for Hansel Robles today is not much different from what you're getting for him on July 28th. It's just not, right? You know, and he's been pretty good. You know, I know he gave up the deciding home run late last night in Seattle, but for the most part, Hansel Robles has been pretty good. But I'm just telling you, what you're getting now and 5-6 weeks from now, it's really not that much different. But you got to find the right partner, a willing partner. But there's always a willing partner when it comes to a bullpen arm that's not due that much money the rest of the year. I mean, it was a 1 year, $2 million contract with some incentives, but he's due, just over $1 million for the rest of the season, maybe a little north of that, but that's not a big ask for a team. But hey, teams are still battling, some financial hurdles, right? That not every ballpark is back to 100% capacity. We're darn near close, but there's still some of that, in the lost revenue from last year. So some teams are battling some of that. Some teams still just want to wait and see if they truly are a contender. Like, wait just another 3, 4, 5 weeks. That's what I mean when I say it takes two to tango. But I'm just telling you, Declan, the Twins are open for business. I think they can make moves on Robles, on Simmons. I think somebody will say, you know what, that glove is far too valuable. Even though the glove here, it's been good. It hasn't been great.
Yeah.
He hasn't wowed us, but he's been good defensively. The bat is, the bat's not there, but that's not a surprise. I still think Tampa makes a lot of sense for Nelly Cruz, although Tampa's offense is top 5 in the league, and they've been having Austin Meadows DH. What I mean by that is, to me, Meadows can play in the outfield. Cruz would be their DH, and they can rotate guys. Clearly they have Kiermaier and DeRozarena, but Margot can then be, a late game, pinch hitter, pinch runner. That Margot is a good player, but I think Nelly Cruz would help them more. Yeah. But Tampa, speaking of financial restraints, Tampa has that, right? Yeah. And Nelly Cruz is due, north of $6 million for the rest of the season. So is Tampa willing to take on all that money? Probably not, Declan. So the Twins would have to eat some of that contract. So then you're asking for a better prospect. But Tampa might say, you know what? We're winning plenty of games without Nelson Cruz. Let's wait until, July 28th, where you've now paid him that much more money between now and July 28th. We'll give you a lesser prospect then, but we'll take back more of Nelly's money. You just have to kick us $1 million, not $3 million. So those are the types of talks that are happening right now. But yeah, I foresee multiple moves. I just can't tell you that it's going to happen, in the calendar month here, June, Declan, but it's all the pending free agents, and it's certainly Berrios that they will re-engage the Berrios camp, see if they can make some progress on an extension. And it's not like the extension has to get done right now. Maybe just make tangible progress that you can finish off the deal after the season, but that there's no reason to trade Berrios. There's other guys in that boat too, by the way, Declan. Taylor Rogers is a free agent after next season. Tyler Duffy is a free agent after next season. Byron Buxton is a free agent after next season. So the Twins not only need to figure out where they stand on Berrios, but minimum to me need to figure out where they stand on Buxton. And to me, I would surely figure out where I stand on Duffy and Rogers. But I'm told those talks have not taken place. I'm told so far the Twins have not talked extension with any of the pending free agents, like Michael Pineda. Like, to me, Declan, I know he's hurt right now, so that hurts his trade value, but I'd have no problem if the Twins could find a way to keep Michael Pineda. That Michael Pineda is in the Twins rotation next year, maybe for the next couple years. I'm cool with that. The Twins are going to have some holes in the rotation. I'm cool if the Twins find a way to re-sign Michael Pineda, but I'm told as of a couple days ago, the Twins have not engaged the Pineda camp in any extension talks.
Doogie, what do you got for rapid fire scoops? I know you had Bernie Williams on the latest episode. I know there was some stuff on the Gopher Hoops recruiting and the Minnesota Lynx. What do you got for some rapid fire scoops to close things out here?
Yeah, unfortunate for the Lynx, although the Olympic break will help. The WNBA will shut down for the Olympics for 4 weeks, so that will help here in a few weeks. But Ariel Powers, really good free agent addition in the offseason. Ariel Powers just came back from an injury. She comes back. She messes up her thumb. It's going to be an 8-week recovery. I'm told by a source, Declan, 8 weeks for her recovery. Natalie Ochonwa was another free agent addition in the offseason. She has a knee issue. I'm told 4 to 6 weeks. So the Lynx down a couple key players, plus they have Shepard, and their first-round pick is hurt. It's been one injury after another for the Lynx. But the Olympic break should help them, that if they can get their full roster back, maybe they can make a run come late summer after the Olympic break. I hung out with Spencer Alvarez from Columbia Heights, the other day. So he committed to PJ Fleck and the Gopher football team, Declan, late last week. Cool story, because you need to go back a really long time to find the last Columbia Heights football player to make it Division I. Like, you need to go back to the early 80s. It's been an incredibly long time. What happens is they don't really have a feeder program. A lot of kids that are in that school district maybe end up at Totino Grace.
Right.
They go private, so they don't go public. But anyway, Spencer Alvarez, good-looking athlete, 6'7", 248, plays basketball, also for Howard Pulley. So he's a good basketball player, plays baseball. He's a blocking tight end, but he has shown in camps that he can catch the ball. So he's impressed the Gophers. He only had Minnesota State Mankato in terms of an offer. And the Gophers liked what they saw, and they offered right away, and he committed right away. So PJ Fleck feels like he is a diamond in the rough. One issue, though, is Alvarez tore his ACL last football game of the season in November. So he's close to being all the way back, but he's not quite there yet. But he should be fine when football workouts start in August. But just a cool story for Columbia Heights, who really doesn't produce Division I athletes. Well, I take that back. They have. Zach Lofton went there. They've produced some basketball players. It's rare for Columbia Heights to produce a Division I football player. So cool story with Spencer Alvarez. I'm trying to think anything else. Declan, I brought up Jericho Sims' name. He has draft workouts this week with the Kings and the Grizzlies. Anything else I need to get out there, Declan? I'm trying to think. Yeah, go for basketball. Workouts are underway. I was on a Zoom call, even though I was off yesterday. I just wanted to hop on with Ben Johnson. So Ben, I asked Ben where things stand on adding another big man. So the Gophers still have a couple scholarships they can play with, but Ben doesn't want to get to the full 13. So he's looking at adding one more player, not two. Now, if he stumbles into a second, maybe that changes. But he's on record saying he's looking to add probably one more big. That big is Sterling Manley, the North Carolina transfer, who is weighing the pre-draft process, that he is going through the pre-draft process. And so he has a decision to make. But if Sterling Manley decides to play college basketball next season, the Gophers are working him incredibly hard. On Steph Mitchell, the Shakopee native, the Boston College transfer, he seems to be full steam ahead on pursuing a professional career. Now, he announced the Final Four. The Gophers are among his Final Four. Like, if you're Ben and you could get Mitchell and Manley, I suppose you'd do it. But I can just tell you, the number one target right now above Mitchell is Sterling Manley, that Ben Johnson would love to land Sterling Manley.
Awesome stuff, Doogie. Find his podcast on Apple, Spotify, and scorenorth.com. That's Darren Doogie Wolfson. Doogs, we'll chat on Thursday, too.
Declan, good job, for sure.
Thank you.
Judd Zolgad, Wally Pip, you, Lou Gehrig, or if you want to go with the modern succession plan, you, Kellen Mond.
Yes.
Judd Zolgad with those big fat paychecks, Kirk Cousins. And Judd, not ever willing to renegotiate.
Nope. He will not kick the can down the road. No restructures. No Rob Brzezinski can help Judd Zolgad. Not even Rob.
If you don't like the contract, he'll move on. He'll give you the middle finger and hit the road. But Judd Zolgad is not renegotiating any contract.
Awesome stuff, Doogie. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay. See you, Declan. Bye-bye.